Over the last 4 years, I've tested more than 10 different smart locks. And after a new month of testing, I determined that the August smart lock platform is still by far the best. You get a unique auto unlock feature that's just magic and a ton of smart home compatibility. The Nest by Yale lock is a great looking lock and it works as intended, but there's nothing really unique about its software features compared to August. Before we go any further, I need to clear up some things with August, and this is really important, so don't skip this part unless you want to get confused. So there are more than 5 different smart locks that all use the August app, and I've tried most of them. For this video, I'll focus primarily on the Yale Assure, which comes with an August module, because it's the best August lock on the market. But almost everything that I talk about in this video going forward will apply to all the locks in the August lineup. The classic August that's shaped like a hockey puck may be preferred for those who live in apartments, which we'll get into in the design and the best for you sections of this video. So now let's go through 6 different categories and compare the Nest by Yale lock to the Yale Assure powered by August. Just like Nest, August lets you control the system when you're not home, see a history of who's opened the door, give people scheduled recurring access, temporary access, or permanent access. August has 2 unique features. DoorSense always lets you know the status of the door and warns you in the app when the door isn't fully shut. This feature is important because with smart locks like Nest, you can leave your door wide open, but because the lock is turned all the way, the app thinks your house is locked and secured. It doesn't know anything about the door. The second unique feature is called Auto Unlock. First, it puts your home in away mode once you leave the perimeter of your house, and then when you come back, it automatically unlocks the door. Of all the smart locks that I've tested, August is the only one with the auto unlock feature. And it's my favorite feature of any smart home product that I've ever tested. It works perfectly about 95% of the time, and then the other 5%, it still works, but it's just a little bit slower than I would like, and I'll have to stay at the door and wait for it to unlock. Auto unlock can be a magical experience, especially when you come home from the grocery store with 5 bags on each hand, and your door just unlocks automatically. When this feature works correctly, it's like you don't even have a lock. Just like August, Nest lets you control the system when you're not home, see a history of who's opened the door, give people scheduled recurring access, give one-time temporary access codes, or give permanent access to the people in your household. Compared to August, Nest has just one unique feature, but it's not really a game changer. Nest will detect when you're not home and put itself in away mode, and it locks if it's not already. This feature would be huge if you accidentally forgot to lock your door before you left home, but the downside is that it only puts it in away mode after you've been gone for an hour. And while this feature is unique to Nest, it can be done with August with third-party apps. August works with almost every smart home platform out of the box, including If This Then That, Alexa, HomeKit, and Google Assistant. The extra smart home compatibility will let you pair your other smart home gear with your August to create endless amounts of automations. The Nest lock doesn't play nice with any of the other smart home platforms outside of the Google ecosystem. Nest expects that you'll only have Google products in your home, and this lack of compatibility is one of Nest's biggest weaknesses. Nest has some cool integrations with Google Assistant and other Google products, but for the most part, they're pretty basic. I'm still surprised that 3 years after the launch, the Nest by Yale lock and the Nest Hello doorbell still don't really have any interactions with each other. But if you have the Nest alarm system, you can set up a cool automation where you unlock your door and it automatically disarms your alarm system. The installation is relatively painless for both lock systems because they lead you through all of the installation steps in their respective apps. You'll need to remove your existing deadbolt setup, put the keypad through your hole, attach and mount the backplate to the keypad, and then attach the wire from the keypad to the lock lever base. And then finally, mount the lock lever to the base plate with 3 screws. And once the lock is on the door, the speaker will give you some guidance and the final steps will take place back inside the app. I've installed both locks a few times each, and the normal installation takes about 20 minutes. The best way to unlock your door is with auto unlock. When you leave the house, it goes into away mode, and then when you come back, it automatically unlocks the door. You can use the keypad by placing 3 fingers on the lock, typing in the code, and then hitting the check mark. You can use the August app by tapping the giant red circle. You can use the Apple Home app by finding the page that has your lock and then tap on the lock icon. You can create a HomeKit geofence automation, and then when you come back, it'll appear on your phone and you'll have to click run. So it's like an auto unlock, but a little bit more secure. You can use the Alexa app. Just go to your devices, tap on locks, locate your lock, then tap on the lock icon. You can ask Alexa or Siri. When you say unlock the back door, Siri and Alexa will ask for your authentication, which is either Face ID, Touch ID, or a passcode depending on the device. You can also just use the key that comes included. With the Nest lock, you can use the keypad by placing a finger on the Nest logo to activate the keypad, and then tap in your code followed by the check mark. You can use the Nest app by tapping on the lock icon and then holding the lock button for a full second. You can use the Google Home app by just holding down the lock icon. You might have noticed Nest by Yale looks really good, but it doesn't have a keyhole. And if the batteries die, you need to hold a 9-volt battery on the bottom of the lock to activate the screen and then type in your code. I think the Nest by Yale lock is risky for anybody who only has one entry door. Technology can break. There could be an issue with the software, or maybe just the motor gets weakened over the long term, and you might find yourself outside of your door without being able to get in. There are a bunch of ways to lock your August lock. If you have one-touch lock enabled, just place 3 fingers on the screen and it'll lock. August can automatically lock your door after a set period of time after the door has been shut, and you can pick any time between 30 seconds and 30 minutes. You can also use the August app by just tapping on the giant green circle, or you can use the Home app, find the page that has the lock, and then tap on the lock icon. Or you can use Google, Alexa, or Siri by just saying unlock the back door, and you can do this without any authentication. No passcode is needed. To lock the Nest by Yale, you can use an auto lock timer, and you can set the timer to lock at 10 seconds, 1 minute, or 5 minutes after you've unlocked it. Or you can just use the keypad by tapping on the Yale logo. And this is the best way to lock the Nest as long as you don't inadvertently hit that button as you're trying to close the door. You can also use the Nest app or Google Assistant, and with Google Assistant, no authentication will be required. The Nest by Yale is one of the best looking smart locks that I've ever tested. Its sleek and low profile keypad has huge, bright numbers. And it doesn't have a keyhole, which adds to the minimalistic look, which I love, but like we just covered, that has plenty of downsides. With the Yale Assure, it's hard to find anything to criticize with the look of this lock. The design is similar to the Nest by Yale, but the numbers on the keypad are a bit smaller. From the outside, the main difference is that it has a keyhole for a key, which is a great fail-safe option. If you're leaning towards August, but you appreciate the keyless look of the Nest by Yale, you can actually go with the Yale Assure SL connected by August, which is the same as the Yale Assure, just without the keyhole. Now let's go over the traditional August locks. With the August 4th gen, you keep your existing deadbolt setup and just replace your deadbolt lever with an August mounting plate. The lock is shaped like a hockey puck and it looks futuristic, but it's not as intuitive to your guests as a traditional deadbolt lever would be. Nothing changes from the outside and you retain your existing keyhole, which means that your key can be used as normal. The August 4th gen might be the perfect workaround to get a smart lock in your apartment if your landlord has some kind of restrictions on what can be on the outside of the door, or they just don't want you switching out the deadbolt. And the discreetness of it is kind of a nice feature for those that don't want others to know that they have a smart lock. You get the same smart lock features, but it looks like a dumb lock from the outside. The main reason I don't recommend the August 4th gen is the lack of the keypad. Without the keypad, you can't give out access codes to guests, and everyone in your household will either need to have a key or the August app on their phone to get in the house. You might be using the auto unlock for most of the time, but for the times that it doesn't work or the times that you're just outside and never left your house and need to get inside your house, the keypad is super helpful. Technically, you can buy the August keypad attachment, but it didn't perform well in my months of testing. Another downside is that the August 4th gen might seem like it's easier to install than the other locks because it's only replacing one part, but it can actually be a little bit tougher. The makeshift solution that August came up with might just complicate matters for those who have a unique deadbolt situation. And I found that the lock calibration process wasn't always that smooth, so it's probably safer just to replace the entire deadbolt unless you can't. Get the Yale Assure if you want your door to automatically unlock when you come home, or you want to get notified when your door isn't fully shut. And if you like the look of the no keyhole, go with the Yale Assure SL. Get the Nest by Yale lock if you own a lot of Nest or Google products and you don't want to download another app. Nest by Yale is well built and it works as intended, but it's missing a lot of smart home compatibility and it doesn't have auto unlock. Get the 4th generation August if you want to keep your existing key and keep the same deadbolt. It'll be great for renters or for those that don't want to give off the appearance of owning a smart lock. And for me, I'll definitely be keeping the Yale Assure SL. Even if Nest did have an auto unlock feature, I would still go with an August lock because I value the HomeKit and the Siri integration a lot. For example, at nighttime, I have an automation where I say goodnight, all the lights turn off, my door's locked, and my Ecobee thermostat gets turned down. So that's all I have for this video, and I hope I made things a little bit clearer in this video compared to my last video on locks, where some people got confused because there are so many products. But if you still have questions about any of these, let me know in the comments and I'll get back to you. So thanks for watching this one, and I'm out.